What? What is this? My body won't move. I can't move my neck, fingers, or feet even in a single inch. It was like...
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes?
Head and shoulders, knees, and toes can't move an inch. Fuck. It was like my eyes were completely covered in mud. Again! My voice won't come out even when I try to shout. I open my mouth, but no sound comes out. Only air. It's completely pitch black and there isn't even an ounce of light. But I feel like I can't be here. I feel a horrible premonition. This is bad. I need to escape. Quickly. Right now. I try to squirm as much as I can, but continue sinking into the mud. But I still have to try. Hurry up, hurry up! What? Suddenly I feel someone pulling my right arm. Inside the darkness, my right arm floats to the white top. Before my elbow is nothing. It's all gone. As if it was eaten off. While restlessly squirming in the darkness, I feel something licking what's left of my lost arm. Like it was saying that it wanted more. An intense fear overtakes me and I scream. Even though nothing sounded, I scream and scream. Ah! 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 The next time I open my eyes, all I see is the ceiling. This is my room. I blink a few times and slowly, my sense of reality comes back to me. Ouch! The inside of my head keeps pounding. I need some medicine. I need a doctor. I sluggishly get up and I see Ren coiled up under the futon. Just like how he always would, on a normal day. Looking at him, I feel like I've come back to my senses. We finally came back home. I reach out my hand to Ren and start to lightly pet him. He starts up. AOBA. Good morning, Ren.
Good morning. How is your health?
I have a headache.
I see. You haven't taken any medicine yet?
Nope. Let's head downstairs. I get up from my bed to leave and hold Ren in my arms with me. Ouch. Feels like an awful, violent vibration keeps moving through my body. But I smell the scent of a lot of food coming from the hallway, and forget the pain for a little while. Granny must have made something. Granny, I'm so glad she's safe. Since happiness, or happiness, can't exactly fill my stomach, I go downstairs. When I enter the living room, Kojiku, Noise, and Clear are all sitting at the dinner table. Mink is sitting on the couch in the other room by himself, because he sucks. On the table is food that Granny has lined up, and my stomach starts to rumble. Finally up, AOBA?
Master! Yo, Ren, I came to visit.
Hey!
How are you doing? Okay? I'm not feeling too great.
Of course you wouldn't.
Kojiku looks down and lets out a small sigh. The atmosphere around everyone here gives me the feeling that they're all tired. Well, of course they'd be. Something unbelievable happened back there. How's Mizuki? Mizuki and the rest of Dry Juice members are all in the hospital. Seems like none of them have woken up yet. I see. Back then, I confronted Mizuki as he was about to load Granny into that car. I don't know if what happened was a dream or reality, but I realize now that both Mizuki and I fell down. something happened to us? There's only one thing that I clearly remember, and that is my past. I had forgotten all about it until now, but it suddenly came back to me. The fact that I had been participating in rhyme a long time ago. Because all this time Alba has been like, I've never done rhyme. I don't know what I'm doing, but he has. And he does, but he never knew.
Dun dun dun!
That's why I somehow knew how to fight noise in that drive-by. But why did I forget that? Not that I vaguely knew how to fight back then, but the fact that I was participating in rhyme. Was there a point in time when I just forgot about it all? So you're awake! Granny. When I look to Granny, she softly grunts and places a plate on the table. I'll help. I'm almost done. You hurry up and sit down, too. Okay, I got it. I obediently take an empty seat. Granny, are you sure you're okay now? Worry about yourself first. You're the one who fell flat on your face. I listen and don't say another thing. I saved Granny, but in the end I just made her even more worried. Feeling awkward, I take my plate. At first I just poked it with my chopsticks, feeling depressed, but once I took a bite, that all flew away. It's delicious. Suddenly my appetite grows larger. Everyone else couldn't stop eating once they tasted her food either, and in a flash all their plates were in the air, ready for more. Clear once again must have eaten at the speed of sound, and Mink didn't come to the table until the last minute. 'Cause he sucks. The medicine I take calms me down, and I open my mouth to ask Granny for something. Granny, can I ask something? What? Was Mizuki really the person that took you? Her gaze falls to the teacup in her hands. Yes. He called me from the back. He said that he wanted something with you, and that he wanted me to come too. I thought it was odd at first, but then he suddenly gagged me and dragged me into the car. How rude! So it was him. But why you? It's time to unlock my tragic backstory. Granny stays silent with a troubled look on her face, but slowly opens her mouth to say something. Aoba! And the rest of you too. First, I haven't given my thanks yet. Because of you all, I'm safe now. Thank you. Granny, I'm going to tell you something very serious right now. The truth is that I should have said this earlier, but all I can do is say it now. It's a better idea to just tell you now than never. So make sure you listen up. Everyone looks at Granny, completely silent. Now, Mizuki was the one who kidnapped me, but he was being manipulated. By morphine, right? Yes, but morphine is a little different from what you think it is. This is just my guess, but they were probably under the influence of Toei Inc. Toei?
The old farts that bought this island and made Platinum Jail, huh?
Platinum Jail is the rich part of the island. But what does morphine have to do with Toei? Granny watched us talk and for once again lowered her eyes to her teacup. I used to be one of Toei's researchers at his lab once. It was 20 years ago. Granny, you were a researcher for Toei? Yes, I was one of the original ones. I always knew that Toei and the establishment were growing closer and closer. Granny worked for Toei.
Toei is a capitalist dog, and his wealth must be seized and redistributed to the people.
Basically. I recall the time when I fought Toei in rhyme. Toei has always been doing neural research. To put it simply, I worked with the brain's plasticity. We tested how some drugs could affect brains that had lost their functionality. I was hoping to find the solution to be able to save people who had damaged brains. I always believed that it was an amazing thing to study. But it didn't turn out to be that way. Toei's real objective was to find a way to manipulate people in any and every way possible. That's what the research was for. I believe that they often designed secretive programs, and the issues grew over time. When I looked into it, you could see it in their documents. In there I read that they had perfectly substituted a person's consciousness successfully. When I saw that, I felt like I was dead. I did it all to save people, and in the end it backfired. After that, I stopped all of my research and quit. I decided that I'd return to this island, my hometown, and live the rest of my life in peace, without Toei in it. But a little while ago, I got a message from Toei. He wrote that there was an emergency at the research center and requested that I return, but I kept refusing. I never want to associate myself with him ever again. He must have gotten furious at me. Then they took serious action. That's what morphine is.
But then why was dry juice caught up in it?
Recently, haven't young people all around on this island been disappearing? They drug them up, cause them to lose their senses, and make them their patients. I think those are Toei's victims. They coax them to morphine and release them into the city, just so they could be monitored for progress. Otherwise, they wouldn't have released failed subjects.
Failed subjects?
The ones who can't handle it and break down. Their minds are destroyed and they become invalids.
Then what happened to successful ones?
They're retrieved and are subjected to even more experiments. Like when I spoke of the people with substituted consciousness. They've lost their freedom by then. Didn't you see it when you looked at Mizuki? He stepped all over me because I was caught unprepared.
What's Toei trying to do with the research? What's going to happen to the island now?
Most likely to rid all the people on this island of their minds. That way Toei will be able to rule unopposed over his kingdom. If the method to break a person's mind is found quickly enough, he'll also be able to buy other countries. Toei has his hands deep in this old residential district. It's been a peaceful one for several years now, but his real plan may only be beginning now.
Then everyone in this district will become like those test subjects? Haga-san, the stupid brats, Yoshie-san, everyone. We have to stop him. I won't let him. I'll never let that happen. As I mutter those words, Granny looks at me with a pained face.
There's still something I have to say, Aoba.
It's about you.
Me? You lost consciousness when you came to save me, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I had a really realistic dream too. I talked with Mizuki in it.
That wasn't a dream. What you were seeing was in Mizuki's head.
Huh? In his head? Granny makes sure of something and looks into my eyes.
Don't you tell me that it's nothing. I don't know if you'll believe me so easily, but you're able to mix your consciousness in with other people's minds.
What? What did she say? My own consciousness inside someone else's head? I don't understand what Granny's saying.
We called that ability Scrap.
Scrap?
In your case, you can induce scrap with your voice. I get over-emotional when I'm making speeches sometimes, but I listen to why people say some things. Don't you have a lot of those experiences?
I guess you could say that.
Your voice has the power to pull people in. If you decide to put it to use, you'll be able to gain access to others' minds.
If you're doing it to someone you know well, and have a deep wish or desire, you will most likely be able to plant that into their consciousness with your own. But if you use physical contact through the flesh as a means of contact, the other person will be completely defenseless. When you do that, as soon as you speak, there's a possibility that the mind will break. That's just a theory. I was already finding it difficult to understand, Granny, but now, if I speak to someone's consciousness, I can control them? Being able to face them in their own minds? Possibly breaking them? I don't get it at all. It feels like she's speaking in some language I don't understand.
So that's what it was.
Mink, who was in the other room, walks in at some point, arms folded and leaning on a wall. Scrap is a strong power in your voice. Then, that weird place in my dream was actually Mizuki's mind? I can't say what you saw exactly, but it probably was. I talked to Mizuki back there. He was like he usually is, and he told me about how he was in so much pain, and how he was worried about rib and dry juice.
So that's what he was so hung up about.
The one you were speaking to was Mizuki's consciousness. It was the real Mizuki, with no lies, only complete truths. How did you answer? For some reason, I suddenly remembered my past. I don't understand why I completely forgot about being in Rhyme. Kojiku and Noise look at me, so it was like that. It's because I've always refused to participate in Rhyme. But when I was talking to the real Mizuki, it felt weird like Rhyme did. I can't really describe it, what it was. Mizuki, he was telling me something. That morphine wasn't what we thought it was. But before he said that, he looked like he was in so much pain. Ren? Deep wrinkles form on Granny's brow. She snorts and begins to think. There was still the matter at hand to talk about, but her silence stays heavy. Here, everyone is listening to Granny's words. This is my opinion, and I'm not trying to condemn you at all, but if you had chosen the right words at that time, Mizuki's consciousness might have returned. You mean... It's a horrible way of saying it, but you could have taken the half-dead Mizuki and drawn out his true feelings. But you left him there. If you had, for example, peeled off his outer shell and exposed his flesh in a way, it's a very delicate thing. So, Mizuki's consciousness will never return. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Mizuki was strung along in a trap by Toei. Like when he was feeling the pain of his head splitting apart, when you tried to speak to him. When he was dragged out and then left alone, Toei's trap set off. And that's why his mind has been destroyed. If he ever does come back, it'll be from his own willpower. No way! Mizuki's mind was destroyed and it was my fault? My vision goes pitch black. My fault? No. Mizuki! Aoba, your power is capable of destroying people. That's why you need to be aware of it. I've always been thinking about when I should tell you. I've always been here for you. I've been able to protect you in this cage, but now that's no good anymore. If you use it to protect me, it'll just go wild, and all you'll be met with is misery in the end. It's why Toei found you. You were one of the first there when Toei began his research. They wanted that power, and they were willing to put their hands on your throat for it. This time they're forcing their way in, but I don't know what Toei is up to right now. That's why you have to go on your own now, Aoba. Ugh. Even if you say that, I can't just accept it like that. What Granny just said was as much as I could take. But I understand that letting Toei do whatever he wants is dangerous. If I ignore him, this island will become his plaything. A special event is opening up in Platinum Jail soon. It's not clear what it'll be about until the day it opens. They're offering it to the old resident district too.
Why is the old resident district being invited? Isn't it usually isolated from Platinum Jail? They're open to the public. They're opening it to the public and testing things out by inviting the district.
Exactly. The research is still unknown to the public. But with this event, they'll be able to observe the results of their experiment. How are they going to observe them? Songs, speeches, lights, videos. They want to figure out how people can be broken, and if they can acquire anything new. Saying that, there's nothing we can do before the event, is there? We'd better get to Platinum Jail as soon as possible. Maybe even tomorrow. How are we going to do this? There's a way to get in before their gates open. There is? Yes. But I can't move. You'll have to depend on someone else to help. Go to Hagasan. To Hagasan? People that have lived here for a long time pretty much all know. It's not too difficult. You can ask me for even more details. After saying that, Granny gives out a pained breath. Well, I've talked a lot, haven't I? Even though you all kept interrupting me. It wasn't much, but I told you of the truth I saw when I was a researcher. I'm sorry for getting you all caught up in this. Granny faces us and lowers her head. Granny. Tae-san, don't.
Grandmother!
After lowering her head for a few more seconds, she looks at everyone. Now, you all must be tired now. You all could do more. You all could do more if you like, but it's better to let yourselves rest now. Once Granny spoke, no one else said a word. Everyone left the living room with a meek look on their face. Once everyone leaves, Granny stands up and goes inside the living room. She sits down and takes a long, deep breath. I walk up to join her. Granny, what? Can we talk a little more? She doesn't answer me, but I go and sit next to her. There are so many things I want to talk about, but I don't know what I should say first. My mind's in a frenzy, and I can't seem to hold on to my thoughts. I stare at my hands on my knees and open my mouth while thinking. You know, I always make you worry about me, and I don't know a lot about stuff. I'm sorry while you were talking earlier. You're sounding stupid. Aoba, there's never been a day that's passed when I'm not thankful for your safety. You're my responsibility, because I'm your crusty old grandmother. Granny. Granny sits silently and stares at me for a few moments. You said that you remembered participating in Rhyme, right? Yeah. A long time ago, you had to go to the hospital because of an incident in Rhyme. Huh? An incident in Rhyme? Yeah. Only now I can say it to you. When I rushed up to you back then, you didn't remember anything. Both the doctors and the police told me you were caught up in a bad fight. That you were beat up really bad. And that you were suffering from temporary memory loss. And then the day when I visited, something happened. Aoba? Huh. Are you surprised? Aoba! At that time, there was a nurse collapsed on the floor next to you. And for 2 days after that, you continued to sleep. The nurse who had fainted said she remembered nothing. I went into your room to inspect some things, and it seemed that when you had woken up, you had lost your memory. You've been having those headaches ever since. I remember that. After that, my memories came back. They were still fuzzy, though. That nurse was lightly affected by scrap. You entered her consciousness and destroyed part of her memory. The headaches scrapped the personality change. I knew that danger was to reappear soon, and again, so I prescribed you medicine. As you began to become more stable, I guess it was as if I suppressed the power there. And as a result, didn't your headaches also fade away? Yeah. The medicine losing its effect might mean that you're having a reaction to the drugs forcing the power down. Scrap's main principle is destruction. To kill, to bring ruin. But the use of such a thing can change on how and for what reason you use it. And that's why I want you to face it by yourself now. And never stop. No matter what happens. Just believe in your own choices along the way and keep pushing forward. Speaking with fervor, Granny takes both my hands and grips them tightly. Her hands are warm and soft. This is the warmth of my gentle Granny. It's the warmth of someone important to me. Someone who's always watched over me. Granny. I'll definitely come back. Yeah. She nods her head and gives me a tiny smile. Suddenly I remember everything I didn't speak with Granny about. I never talked about my fight with Toei and Rhyme, but talking to her after all of that is hard. If she were to know that I was involved with Toei, she'd worry even more. I feel guilty about not telling her everything, but I don't want to make her even more anxious over me. I really don't want that. What's wrong? Nothing. In the end, I didn't confess to Granny about my encounter with Toei. After that, she stands up from the sofa and takes something out from one of the shelves. Take this with you. It's a new prescription for your headaches. Thanks. Make sure you hold on to it. Okay. I tightly grasp the medicine she gives me. I go back to my room, flop onto my bed, and stare at the ceiling. The only thing that runs through my head is what Granny said. I don't feel like sleeping at all. How Mizuki and his group was manipulated by morphine. How Granny was actually a researcher for Toei once. Toei's real intentions. How I remembered that I participated in Rhyme before. About my power, Scrap. And how I might have broken Mizuki beyond repair. Ugh. No matter how many times I roll around in my sheets or let out deep sighs, the heavy feeling never goes away. I really did that to Mizuki. If only I'd listened to what Mizuki had to say back there, I might have been able to save him. That's what Granny said. But I wasn't able to do that. Even if I didn't know, I still can't forgive myself. My one action changed Mizuki forever. I can't believe it. I look up to the ceiling and pound my face into the pillow. An uneasy feeling in my arm suddenly resurfaces, and doesn't seem to fade away at all. Damn it! I don't want to think about this alone anymore. I get up from my bed, and by my feet is Ren, curled up in a ball. Oh, wait a minute. Is this supposed to happen?
What?
I hope that we're not on Ren route, because that's the true route. I hold him close to me and he activates. Aoba, what happened? I was just wondering how you were doing. I think we ended up on Ren route by accident. That's my fault.
How?
I clicked one too many options for Ren, clearly. Well, so we'll stop there for now, because that's when it's usually supposed to branch off. And, Ren, we'll see you in about 4 other routes.